welcome to the Activity Call Live. And now, our host, Andy Albright.
Doing great.
Good morning.
So,
good morning, Andy.
Good morning, Sarah. We only have a few minutes to make an impact on people, so we should get right into it. I have three very important, impressive guests in their own right. And let's start with Davies. He's the most senior. As young as he is, he's been with the company quite a while. Recently, if you guys heard about the devastation that happened in Western North Carolina, loss of property and lives. Fortunately, I don't think we had any family losses, but we did have a house destroyed. And so Davies, kind of tell them a little bit about that and a little bit about, just a little high level about you.
Okay. So, yeah, as far as like here in Asheville, it's crazy. I've never seen anything like it, but the good news is everybody's healthy. A lot of people lost their lives, but our family is healthy and the rebuild is going well. And when you have good insurance and access to cash flow, that makes things even easier. So, so I've been with the Alliance now 24 years. It'll be 25 in April. And I got into the insurance business as a 18-year-old kid at one of those companies with just a grinding culture where they just, it's a total grind and there's no leadership and they just, keep throwing bodies at what is a process problem and a leadership problem. But after 2 years there, I was toast. I was ready to give up altogether on chasing this dream. But fortunately, I met you, Andy, 24 years ago. And man, just ever since then, it's been a roller coaster ride with a lot of high highs, man, and a lot of fun. We went the first year $240,000 in income, second year $680,000, third year $1.2 million, and it's been a blast. And thinking about the people that along the way, all the lives that have changed, being a part of this, having a historical perspective. I was spending time with Leventovich and Katz on the road this week in different spots, and just that history and all the people we've worked with and helped win over the years and the stuff we've been through together. That's something special. That's not something you find everywhere. So that's high level on me.
So, here's a high level on Davies. So you understand the storm came through and he texted me, Mike can't make this meeting. It's been bad. And I'd heard it was bad, but I didn't know how bad. So their house was destroyed. And immediately he gets an Airbnb to move his whole family in where he can get signal so his company can be back up and running in 24 hours. As opposed to staying there and panicking over the house. He just contractors will deal with that. I've got to keep my business going. And he's back up and running. And when I was talking to him, I knew it was bad, but I was like, I had no idea to the extent. I don't know if everybody knows this. Over 200 people got killed. Whole neighborhoods, little small communities were wiped out into Lake Lure. And I'm glad your family's safe. It was very impressive how you handle it. And, congratulations. Those numbers that he's talking about, $240,000 first year, we had really one product. We didn't have index universal life, annuities, estate planning, all this stuff. It was mortgage protection. It was just grab it and growl, kill it. $240,000 first year, $680 second year.
Yes, sir.
And
that's
third
funny.
year,
$1.2 million. That's funny. Talk about that one product deal. Whenever I do trainings on the road, inevitably someone will have a question that's just so hard with, you have all these carriers and it's just so hard. Back in the day, we had one carrier. So guess what? If your client got declined, here's what you had to do. Find a different client. Because there was no option. So I'm like, the abundance of what we have now is just so incredible.
Okay. Olivia, I'm thinking you're a little
Yes,
bit
sir.
newer to the team than Sarah. And I told Olivia yesterday, she started telling me about what she's doing recruiting. I said, we need to talk. And she said, when? I said, 10 a.m. tomorrow, which will be right now. So here we are. We're talking. A little bit about your background, like Davey's, a little high level. You're a lot younger, so the story's not quite as in depth, but tell everybody who you are, Olivia.
Yeah, so my name's Olivia Martin. I'm actually located in West Palm Beach, Florida. Before I got into the Alliance, I was selling vacation packages. This would be like timeshares, with rental property stays. And I did that for about like 5 years, doing that via telesales. So I wasn't actually like on the property selling the vacations. I was just calling people through the phone. When I was doing that, I mean, I made good money doing the telesales. My commission at the time was 20%. To me, that was like fantastic. And then, over the years, I was, very interested in having my own business. The person that I worked with that ran the office, I noticed that they got to kick back, relax, and they were making so much money off of everybody else pounding the phones all day, and I was one of those people pounding the phones all day. And I was like, I want to figure out how to get to that. In my transition of trying to own and operate my own business, I was fortunate enough to meet Erica Gold and Jason Mathis through a friend that knew Erica. And when I met with Erica and Jason, they were like pretty much telling me, hey, you get to create your own schedule. You get to create your own legacy. You're not, captive to a certain percentage with us. You do have to grow. You have to earn your comp here, but you're not told, hey, 20% no matter how good you are, and that's something that very much intrigued me. It very much aligned with everything I wanted in life, to be able to have control. I met them in March of 2023. So when I didn't have my license at the time. They asked them, hey, what do I need to do? Do I have to do school for this? I didn't know anything about insurance. Life insurance is super foreign to me. And when they told me I just had to go get my license and that's it, you can do it remotely. As far as taking the test, I was like, oh, that's super easy. So I went and got my license. It was a week before, A View from the Edge, that I had met them. And they said, hey, we have an opportunity for you to kind of get a better scale of what we do, meeting the people that are actually successful at doing it. So I mean, at the time I had no money to my name. And I was like, well, I need to figure out how to get to this location. Where are you guys going to be? And they said Denver, Colorado. So I was like, all right. I remember going right back to work the next day, selling the hell out of those packages so I can get some funds to go to Colorado. And that's the first time I had met Andy Albright, his wife, Jane. I met Robbie Kraft. There was a bunch, Jeff Bright. I met a bunch of people at that convention. And once I got to see the bigger picture and hear everybody's stories, their struggles and what they went through and how they became successful in this business, I was like, it clicked in my brain. I was like, I need to stop doing what I'm doing. I'm getting nowhere. I'm not getting traction. And this is the place for me. And since then, I've been, slowly but succeeding here, getting coaching, direct coaching and mentoring from you, getting it from Jason, talking to Clay Murtis, Robbie Kraft. The tools that we have here are unbeknownst, and I'm very thankful to be here. That fortunately, I wasn't in Stevie Davies' position where we had one carrier, and then if you can't get them the protection, you're SOL on, the client. I'm thankful that I walked in with 40 different carriers that we could use, and we have the ARC system. I mean, don't have to use paper anymore. So I'm very thankful to be a part of the Alliance, and thankful for your mentoring that I've been getting lately.
Well, this call is for you. So I'm going to do my best to kind of communicate to you, and everybody else just gets the benefit of it. Okay, Olivia?
I would love that.
So I remember so crystal clear that she was down front. We were at the View from the Edge, and we were on this big theater style convention, and she was hanging out down there, and Olga was like, yeah, Olga's from Colombia, who I think she not only kept her accent, I think she accentuated. She said, come introduce you, and we met Olivia, and she was just like she is now. She was just so bold and so crisp and fun, and clearly she's her own person and not worried about what anybody else thinks. She knows what she likes and what she wants, and I was like, that's what I'm talking about right there. Because you can't say like from one redneck to another, but you can say from one person who's gonna do what the hell they gonna do to the other person who's gonna do what the hell they gonna do. But there's a lot of things I can say about her, but the boldness, and I appreciate you so much. And we hung out with Erica, and Olga and Jason are so incredible people. And anyway, I'm excited about what you're doing. Your sales and your team. Give me an idea of the size of your team, Olivia.
So right now, if we're going to talk about like active agents, right now I have about 5 active agents that I'm, slowly getting the ball rolling with them, getting their feet wet, getting them introduced and showing them the ropes. Also, whether that's between the sales and the recruiting with them. So I'm trying to, have a system put in place to help them with that. With the sales, sales is more of my niche. The recruiting, I'm still learning, but right. The sales, it's just, if you look at it on a smaller scale, everyone's going to have ups and downs. But if you look at it at a bigger picture, I'm slowly making my way up with sales. Like, for example, last month was a little bit of a slower month for me. And then this month, I think about 15 days in, I paid about $25,000, and I wasn't even home. I was traveling, seeing my family, working remotely, to keep my business going. Thank God I didn't have a tragedy and have to locate somewhere else to run my business, with the hurricane and everything else. But I do like the option of, hey, I can pick up my computer, and if I want to go see family and people that mean a lot to me, I can do that, and I can still produce and keep my business afloat. And that's what's been happening the last 30 days.
Okay. And of your 5 people, is one of them recruiting more? Is someone trying harder to build a team?
I actually have a few. I have Felix Wright. He's 20 years old. He's actually active military right now. He's in the process of getting his license. He was supposed to take his test, but they didn't allow him leave to go take it. So he's, waiting to figure out a time that he can get that scheduled. But he's actively bringing people to me that he thinks are interesting and that I would be interested to help them here. I have another guy who's also super young. He's in college. His name's Rio Gay. He has been cycling people through as well to me. Erica's actually hosting a company mixer up in Orlando. It's going to be her. You met her brother-in-law, Keegan, on a call, I think. They have a company mixer. So I have some of my agents going to that mixer in Orlando that they're bringing people that they know to get around us to talk about the Alliance and what we do and, how we do it, how to make money, how to have fun. So we're slowly getting that ball rolling with people, bringing people in as far as building that depth in the team.
Hey, what book are you reading right now, Olivia?
The one I'm reading right now, I just started a new one. It was 1 Minute Manager.
Get stuff done. 1 Minute Manager. I'm trying to remember is it Bannister? No, not Bannister. What's that guy's name that wrote that book, 1 Minute Manager?
Please do not ask me. I literally just picked it up.
That's a great book. It's probably been 30 years. Who is it? Yeah, Blanchard. Kim Blanchard. Yeah. We met Clem Blanchard and hung out with him in Florida one time. I think Davies was there. Great. You know how disappointing, discouraging, embarrassing it would be if I'm coaching a person and I have them on a show and I go, what book are you reading? And they go like, okay, I need to do better on that. You just want, come on, guys. There's some simple low life things that a chimpanzee could do. You don't have to talk about your IQ, your mama, your daddy, anybody. This is the book you're reading. Thank you. Kim Blanchard. Thank you. Discover the Magic of No Excuses. Self-leadership and the 1 Minute Manager. So thank you for doing that. I'm not surprised. Okay, Sarah. Sarah is a great business, part of a great team. Just kind of give us the same thing, Sarah. Highlight whatever you want to share. I know you just set your highest production Last month, 68,000. Is that right? Was that your team?
That's right.
68,000. Okay, I'll let you talk. You what's going on?
All right.
Me and you.
All right. Good morning, Andy. How are you doing over there?
Great.
Cool. Awesome. So yeah, my name is Sarah Cipher. I am a local to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Just kind of high level, I graduated with my bachelor's of science in dental hygiene. Did that for about 10 years. About 5 years in as a provider, I was just like, kind of want to do something different. I was getting that itch. Put my toe out into something, didn't really turn out to, just got a little scared at that point in my life, decided to get a little bit back into my comfort zone and did hygiene for another 5 years. Worked for a really, really transparent company, corporate dentistry, and our KPIs per se, those were all transparent. So everyone knew what everyone was making. Everyone knew what everyone was producing. And what happened was I was a part-time hygienist pulling in the same amount of production as those full-time girls. Now, the crazy thing is I was only getting paid about $3 more an hour than those girls. So I kind of started scratching my chin and thinking, all right. And it wasn't just like a one-hit wonder month. It was 10 years worth of data that I was constantly just doubling my production, tripling my production. So I just, I remember having a meeting with the dentist about it, and I love him to death. We're still friends. I was like, doesn't really matter how much of a raise you can give me. I'm still going to be capped at what I can make over here. So I just started I didn't really even at that point, Andy, I didn't know if I was even really looking. I didn't really know what I really wanted to do, but I knew I didn't want to do that. I was making, 6 figures doing dental hygiene, had a really comfy life, right? But I was capped at what I could make, and I knew I was a hard worker. So by the grace of God, me and Veray Joseph, we ended up reconnecting. So over a simple conversation years ago when I first started, when she tried out the dental thing, I was actually mentoring her, and we had a good little relationship. But yeah, I ended up having a simple conversation with her about this finance thing, this insurance industry. Didn't really talk much about insurance, just talked about what this business has done for her life. Talked about what she's been able to do with her kiddos, talked about the financial freedom that she's had for her and her family, talked about all the cool traveling trips she got to do. And I was like, that's cool. What are we doing? Who are we helping? When I found out that we didn't have to go crazy and hunt down our friends and family, I was like, I am in. Let's go. Okay, so we have people to talk to. Let's go. I can do this. I know how to talk to people. So yeah, my first, I guess you would say my first rookie part-time year in the business, I took off with it, and Pablo was on board. He's always been supportive. I knew within a matter of 2 months, I was able to 3x my income. So I looked at Pablo one day, and he kind of looked at me and he said, you ready to retire from dental hygiene? And I said, yeah, I was just waiting for you to say it, sweetheart. So was able to kind of hang up my mask and loops and all the things. And the rest is kind of history. So now, my first kind of full-time year in, I was a personal producer, top producer in the company. But again, just an employee. So I was like, I want to create a business. I want to do this. Why not me? Why not now? I got 3 crazy kids. It's all good. They're all over the place. It's a crazy mess over here. I told my sister this morning, hey, I'm going to be on this national training call. You think you could be here this morning? She said, I got you, sis. So just having that communication, normally my team knows these rugrats are all over the place climbing on me, but man, I got to give my undivided attention to y'all. So yeah, it's been crazy. It's been a wild ride. It's been amazing. It's getting better and better every day. We just came out of a hot spot last night. Gina Hawks, just love that girl to death. Every time I leave one of those, I don't care how many times I've seen the plan, I'm just so blessed that I found this business, or this business found me. So yeah.
Same. Wow. Kids' health good, and Pablo good?
Pablo's amazing. We were up last night. He's prepping for a deposition. He's going to go slay some doctor. He's going to go question him this morning about his bad ethics. Yeah, he's killing it. He's doing amazing. Kids are doing amazing, growing, rambunctious, doing awesome. Life is good.
Her husband's clearly an attorney. Where do y'all live? Where's home?
Yeah, home is Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Okay. All right. So y'all hear those numbers that Davies threw out, and that his income, they're real. Anybody can do it. Anybody. But it does take a special person. First thing is, it's got to be somebody that wants to do it. We call that the WANTTO. Want to. And you, Sarah, you're building it. I love your thing about you just an employee, like you just got a job selling. And and there's nothing wrong with a person, especially if you're making 3 times the money you were making as a career that you went to school for years and years and spent thousands and thousands of dollars. And now you come in here and spend a couple $100, and you feel like you're having more of an impact, and you're making 3 times the money. So congratulations on what you're doing. But I love the idea of stepping out and building a business. Like, why not you? Most of the time, people don't ever commit to anything their entire life. And when I think back, Andy, like, what did I go for? Like, I did okay in high school. Like, getting in NC State was not a problem. And I played baseball and football. But I remember when the coach said I was a kicker and a defensive end and a tight end, and he was like, you're never going to play a defensive end, tight end, you're a kicker. Why don't you just practice kicking? I was like, wait, I can just stand around and kick the ball and then get to run out on the field, and all the screaming, yeah, I'm in. I was like, I just was not overly committed to, like, never been anything to anything. And even when I went to college, I had a blast, got decent grades, but uncommitted. And got a job, and it was all right, putting in 40 hours. But the first thing I ever really committed to was Amway, which was a network marketing business. And I just lost my mind working, 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 and just lost my mind and made enough money that my wife quit her job. She wanted to raise children. She didn't want a babysitter or a nanny. And I did. I was like, we're going to hire a nanny. You're going to keep working, girl. And I thought I'd get me somebody from another country, learn another language. And she's like, no, I'm going to stay at home. And I was all right. So I made enough money in that business that she quit. And then I saved my money, got my mind right, and quit my job, and was looking for something. When my cousin Russell told me about insurance, and I was like, dadgummit, you know what? I think I'm going to run again. So I ended up running a second time in my life. Most people never do one. And I have a couple of friends, Alex Abian, Mike Leventovich, and Adam Katz, and they had ran before. And most people never run one time. I mean, just everything all in, right? And we were like, could we run a second time? And they went all in, and we created this business that's it's freaky. And like, it's a dream that I'm living. Like, the last hour of my life don't make no sense. But I want to show you something, and it's one of the people that I spent a lot of time with, not so much in person. I've spent some time with him in person. I've got y'all around this guy, and I think we should fly out and see him before he goes on to, till he moves on, because he is old now. But I listened to him read his books, but I've got a little clip that I want you to listen to it. If you guys will pull that up, and we'll take it from there.
The next is to develop a workaholic mentality. In our society today, you hear all these people talking about take it easy, have balance in your life, relax, lean back, have fun at work, happy, get along with your coworkers. This is loser talk. Loser. Now, there's a time in your life when you can back off, all right? You can take it easy. But that's when you've made it, not before you've made it. Because before you've made it, you're in a competition with hundreds of thousands of millions of other people, like at the Olympics, who also want to make it. And in order for you to win, you are going to have to work harder and work better and work smarter than they do. So the rule is to develop a workaholic mentality. What does this mean? It means that you start a little earlier, you work a little harder, and you stay a little later. Use what I call the 40-plus formula. The 40-plus formula says that working 40 hours a week gets you survival, and that's all. You work 40 hours a week, you survive. You make no progress. You don't go ahead. You just barely hang on. Every hour that you invest in your work or yourself over 40 is an investment in your future. So you can tell what your future is going to be with unerring accuracy by looking at how many hours over 40 you put in. Now, how many hours does the average self-made millionaire in America work until he passes the $1 million mark? 59. Some of them work 70, 80, 90. The average is 59 hours. How much does the average top executive work? 59 hours. So that's rule number one, is the hours you put in over 40. If people say, well, my office is locked and I can't get in more than 40 hours a week, then good. Then spend the rest of the time investing in yourself, getting better at your work when you do it.
So I don't care what you do. You can work 10 hours a week. Some people, that's the first thing they tell me. It's the greatest business in the world. I can make 10 hours a week, make the same amount of money as before, and I get all this time with my family. Fantastic. That's great. I'm glad. I'm happy for you. I don't care. I used to care more about people, but it was so frustrating to get mad at broke people. Like, just, so many analogies, you can, like, you want to try to teach a pig to sing, you get him a little tutu, give him a little skirt, paint his lips, red, and, rub his throat and put him in front of the audience to sing. And what's going to happen is you're going to get muddy, frustrated, and the pig ain't going to sing, and he going to act like an idiot. And that's like a lot of people when you're trying to get them to do something. But I do want to tell people that they want to. I want to kind of share with them some stuff. So tonight, my cousin who told me to get an insurance license, he's driving me, or he's going with me. We're going to be sitting on the court side. So like yesterday, I talked to the head basketball coach for a good 30 minutes about his recruiting and about raising money. And this is the coach that's coaching tonight, and he's going to be on TV. And I'm talking to him 30 minutes, and I'm going to see you tomorrow night. And I'm just going like, is this me? Is this me talking to Kevin Keats? And we're picking up BJ Barham, who is, you probably don't know this guy, but this guy makes a couple $1 million singing for a living, like country music singing. It's called American Aquarium. And I'm picking him up and his 6-year-old daughter, and we're going to sit on the court side together, and I'm going to introduce him to people, and he knows people. He's a big NC State fan. I'm like, this don't make sense. And, so I was like, I don't want to wear this and talk about insurance because, like, I'm enjoying doing stuff like this, but it's the dream. And then before I got ready to talk, Handy brought this in here, and it's my championship belt for the Savage Wolf Pack, and it don't make no sense that I got stuff like this. And Faith, I can't tell y'all this before I tell Jane. I was calling her and she was calling me, but I was on the phone with a guy in the UK Like this is the last 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? I'm on the phone with a guy in UK, and we're working on me and her's private trip to Jordan and Egypt, and he's talking about a private Nile river cruise, and he's talking about spending a night out in the desert. And I'm like, yeah, sounds good. Could you like to have a private? Okay, get this question to me. Would you like to have a private tour of the pyramids? What? Yes. And so I couldn't tell her, so I'm telling her now, baby. Baby, I got this letter right now in my hands. You've heard of Carter Finley Stadium, Davies? NC State, Carter Finley Stadium. Like people name their kids Finley and they say their kids Carter, and it's after the Carter Finley Stadium. Yeah. So they've decided how nice of it is them to say, y'all can take the name off the stadium, and whoever writes you the biggest check will change the name of the stadium. Robbie, come read this and make sure I understand what it's saying. So imagine that, like just that you're on the list that gets this letter. You understand what I'm saying? So would you like to rename the football stadium with your name? With your brand? I was like, yeah. How much? But to be on the list to get the letter from Boots, so I text the athletic director. So, and I was thinking about this, the dream. But Davies met me 24 years ago, and tell him about my vast involvement with athletics and NC State, and tell him how I was, Davies. You remember 24 years ago, right?
Yeah, that's what's so funny. Because I'll see people get tied up in smaller things, and they're like, "Well, I'm just trying to duplicate what Andy's doing with NC State," and I'm like, "No. What you need to do is duplicate what he did in the beginning." Because that's why he can do what he does now. In the beginning, I mean, for the first 3, 4, 5 years, I had no idea that he even went to NC State, let alone that he loved NC State. Because we were so busy just building and going like crazy. It's one of those things where people hold themselves back by not understanding that there's seasons in life. And if you haven't put in that season of crazy work, then the season of crazy reward is not it's not due you. It's not owed you. It's only owed you once you put in those seasons of crazy work. And in those seasons of crazy work, you have to let everything else go. Like in those 3 years, the first 3 years, I didn't watch a TV show or a movie unless that's what Holly wanted to do with our time. The time that I was making sure that we were having together. I didn't play golf. I didn't do anything other than what was important in my life. Making sure, that my spiritual life, my family life, my business, it was a season where there was not room for extras, but you got to go through those seasons to get through to the seasons where you can have the extras. It's the sacrifice now. Live like no one else will now, so that later on you can live like no one else can. That's what I saw the first 3, 4, 5 years in the Alliance. I had no idea, Andy. It was so funny. I was like, man, you really are about this NC State stuff. And then just learning that you put all that away put it in a box in the closet for 4 or 5 years to go run. And I think a lot of people miss that.
It's inconceivable. Live like no one will for 5 years so that you can live like no one can for the rest of your life. And I don't care. If my children go like, I'm not doing that, I don't care. If they do it, I know what's going to happen. I know what they're going to get. It's so damn predictable. It's not odds. It's not a chance. It's just facts that you give it. When I heard this as a young man, I was like, I hope they're right. They would say it with so much conviction, And I'll be like, how do they believe it so much? Because they lived it. And they were selling me on that dream. And I was like, oh my God. I remember the first time you told me you were playing hockey. I was like, what? It's him playing hockey. I was like, what? But I mean, he had already created a multi-million-dollar income. And then he did a pickup hockey game. I was like, I didn't know you knew what hockey was. And did you even know I looked like sports?
No.
Hunting? Any hunting comments?
No, I just thought you were like, I just figured you must have, as a child, dreamed of being an insurance agent, because that was that was all he talked about. I mean, that was all he talked about. I was like, this guy's been obsessed with insurance for a long time. It's funny because, once you know the story, then it makes the first part of the story even funnier, because it's like, having known, now, but back then what I thought was, this guy is really boring. He is just all about insurance, and that's it. It was an obsession. Freedom was an obsession with me. Like, I wanted freedom like nobody can imagine. If you could see, like right now, I'm courtside. They didn't have courtside when I first made multi-millions. And so I looked at the whole stadium, and the best place was Champions Club, because you get to sit at a bar like this, and they bring you drinks, bring you food, and you're looking over the basketball. And I'm sitting up there, and I'm looking at a magazine of NC State. And when I was there, and then what's going on today, and there was a window there, and I looked at it, Matt, and I couldn't remember. I didn't know one coach, one player, what happened. And I'm looking at it, and what is it? Dementia, or Alzheimer's, or just stroke. And I'm looking at that, and I can't picture anything. And then I went, oh, I know what I was doing during that time. I was building the business to pay for these seats. And so, like, I'll never capture that back, and I don't care. I gave it up. Whatever. Now, people would say things like this. These multimillionaires, Dexter Yeager. Like, here's another crazy one. Me and Jane are in Cabo San Lucas at the one and only. If you don't know Cabo, okay, check it out. If you don't know one and only, check it out. There's like 13 one and onlys in the world. We're at this one and only, and I'm hanging out, talking. I know it's contradictory, one and only. I'm talking to the president of Fidelity and Guarantee, and he's like above average intelligence. So I'm figuring blue blood, Ivy League, Harvard, but he's like legit. Like, I said, damn, Bo, where'd you get so smart? He's like, Amway tapes, of course. It's like, what? He's like, yeah, thousands of hours of Dexter Yeager and Bill Britt and Billy Childers. I was like, Billy Childers. Like, can you imagine, like, where people come from to get to the positions they're in? What did they do? And then you heard my boy talking about work ethic, and it's I read this book right here. If you're really struggling with that, it's called Off Balance, because nobody wants to be off balance in their life. So he talks about being off balance or not being off balance. I don't know if you know who Lencioni is, a really famous thinker and builder. He says off balance is not for everyone. Only those who are interested in finding more energy and satisfaction in life. Not money. Energy and satisfaction. And get no. If I gave you the choice in being fulfilled and rich, what would you pick? I pick fulfilled every time. Happy and rich. Happy every time. I sure didn't want freedom, no. And here's what they'd say. But if you're one of those, then a short, compelling, and well-organized book might rock your world. So,
I'm just reading, and I start reading this, and it's like, who's the most interesting people in the world? I mean, one I go to a lot is Kid Rock. What a mess. Not boring, but he is like music. Like it's his whole world until he made millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. Now he's all over the place, shooting guns, golfing, partying, singing. It's interesting when people get these seasons of life. Is that what Davies called it? So off balance. And this is a preacher named Matthew Kelly. And it's just, you'll be surprised. Personal and professional satisfaction and fulfillment. So there's another one along the lines of the 1 minute manager getting things done. All right. You, Sarah, and Olivia, and I know Davies knows this, but I'm talking to y'all too. You have so many resources at your disposal, being your upline and our vault of training on YouTube's. I would ask you to just constantly talk to them and me and whoever and say, here's what I'm thinking, sincerely. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm doing. What are your comments? Because what happens is when you send a rocket ship to the moon, it does its best to go towards the moon, but there's nonstop iterations, changes, adjustments. I've read the numbers. It's something like 27,000 different times they'll adjust direction because something changed. The atmosphere, the temperature, the weather, the spin, the speed, the friction, the gas, the weight. Something's changed. They make these tiny changes in what you're trying to do. Okay? So both of y'all are recruiting like crazy. I got to tell you, there's nothing like finding somebody. Like you guys were found, meaning nobody takes credit for how badass you are, Olivia. You're badass. But we do want to be a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. Like you're the badass. You're the rocket ship, but there's boosters and there's messages and there's adjustments to keep kind of making that thing go. And like y'all don't know what Davies has been through in his life. You can't put you can't comprehend it. Like I know. Everybody thinks, well, you should have grew up with my dad and my mama and my stepmama and my uncle, what he did to me. Like, bro, what do you think we are? Do you think we were raised in a test tube and everything is perfect in a bubble? Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. We just, what we did, it was the want to, and then the try to, and the adjustments. Like people don't know what Sarah's been through. They don't know what her family's been through. If I let her talk to you, we could just let her talk the next 10 minutes and tell you what they've been through, what they've dealt with. And you'd be like, what? I know, right? And hey, and I don't, there's a lot of stuff. Olivia, next time we talk, or we talk somewhere, we're traveling, I want to hear some stuff because I don't know you that good. But based on some visual evidence, I can imagine. She's a character. Like, who gets on there with a hat on backwards on my show? Like, who does that, right? And I'm not complaining at all. I'm just like, I love it. I love people. Now, let me tell you, this might be the greatest privilege of all, is I know their stories. I don't know all their stories. I just know some of their stories. And I get to see them. And I get to watch them and talk to them. So finding people. And I was recently, I had a conversation with Patrick Waddell talking about our staff and recruiting and talking about finding people, not making them do something. And because that is the biggest secret. You got to find somebody that can close. You got to get somebody that can work. You got to find somebody that already has energy. It already has a want to. Okay, so there's no doubt that's the best thing in the world is finding them. Then about 5:30, 5:45 yesterday afternoon, I said, I'm going to walk upstairs and see who's up there. Just take a picture. And I thought I was going to get a picture of nobody, and I was going to be mad. Problem is, I looked around the corner, and there was Logan and Clay still there. And I was like, well, I can't say nobody was up here, so I'll go see what they're doing. And so we started talking about some stuff, and I was reminded that sometimes motivation works. Like, it really does. Sometimes. Like, in other words, do you motivate somebody or do you find them? Finding them is so much more fun. But motivating them every once in a while might be beneficial. Y'all know who Bobby Knight is? You ever heard that name? He's the basketball coach. I probably can't quote some of the things he said, which was like, you might as well enjoy it if it happens. You can't talk about that. But what he did is he took a chair one time at a game and threw it across the court. He was angry. Now, I'm not saying it influenced the officials, but it influenced me. I was so fired up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was watching a clip of him, and he said, everybody talks about motivation. I'll tell you about motivation. It's called the bench. Nothing motivates people like the bench. Their ass goes over to the bench, and their ass and the bench makes a connection. And the bench sends a signal to their head that says, you need to play better. Or your ass is going to stay connected to me. And he said, it's just amazing when that motivation happens and the body goes, play better. Play harder. Are you going to stay right here? So I won't come back to you. Finding them is best, but a little motivation never hurt nobody, especially if it's not videoed. You hear me, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. It's getting your mind right on the little bitty things, like all hell's breaking loose. You're invited to jump on a call. Call a friend. Can you come over here and take care of the kids? You know, the other option is just lock them outside. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you can't do that. You can't say stuff like that. It's in modern day times. You can't say that. I go, it is modern day times, and we can say that. Some people get shit done. GSD. And some people watch it get done, and some people wonder what happened. And they just can't figure it out. So it's paying attention to all the little things. So one of the things I want to say to you, Olivia, is I have recruiters, Logan and Andy and Emir, and they're, but you're a recruiter and I'm a recruiter. And did you get in touch with Mama Do? Is he getting class? You know, Patrick says, do you think, was it interesting what happened? Thinking about calling him, but I was real busy this weekend. Last couple of days, I was in Maryland, and I ended up having dinner with Hudgy, H-O-G-G-Y, Hudgy, and his mama, and his mother, and Ann Tendong, and they're from Cameroon, and he's a Marine, and I was busy as hell, and the driver was talking to me. I was on the phone with Coffey Anderson, by the way, Coffey is going to do a concert, a full-on concert at our national convention. The whole band is coming, like this, the whole day. So I'm on the phone screaming at him. Mamadou, which is my driver, who's from Guinea, right? And he's laughing. He starts commenting. I said, "You're the driver. Shut up. I'm talking to McCoffey. I can't be, And so, like, me and him were tight. We're texting to get out. I give him some money, a tip. And this is my driver I'm talking about, Mamadou. That's his name. Best I can read it. That's what it looks like anyway, Mamadou. And then, like, when I'm leaving this convention, he's texting me, "Come see me. I'm going to see you." And then he's like, "It's not going to be me. It's going to be Brian." So Mamadou's not picking me up, but Brian's picking me up. And I'm like, all right. So I get back home. It's crazy weekend of stuff happening. But Patrick's sitting here talking to me yesterday at 3:30, 4 o'clock. And he says, "How do you talk to people like about the business?" And I go, "I don't know. I got an idea." Mamadou. So I call Mamadou. I said, "What's up?" No, at first I called Mamadou. I said, "Hey, I'm down here waiting on my driver and I can't find nobody. You supposed to be here? Where are you?" And you could sense him. Because it's his business. He's got 5 drivers, and you could just sense him going into a panic. "Mr. Albright," he's got a crazy accent. "Mr. Albright, where are you?" I said, "I'm down here waiting on a damn driver." And he's like, "I'm sorry." Well, I'm laughing like crazy. And I said, "Hey, listen, man, I'm just messing with you." That's kind of what I said. "I'm just messing with you." And he's like, "Oh, God, thank God, Mr. Albright." And I said, "Hey, man, listen, I enjoyed talking to you. It was fun. I was thinking, would you be interested in doing anything outside of your business, like Index Universal Life or insurance?" He goes, I was going to talk to you about it. I was thinking, are you in insurance? I think I want to do insurance. I tried to do it a few years ago, but I think I would like it better with you. And I was like, you would, good. So anyway, I was just wondering that. He said, "I was going to talk to you when I picked you back up, but I had the last minute put Brian in my place." And I said, "Yeah, I was going to talk to you, but then you substituted Brian, and then I forgot about you. But then Patrick told me, he wanted me to show you what I say to a person, so I called you up and said, 'Are you interested?'" Does that make any sense whatsoever? And the other thing I can't believe is how I remember names. Yeah. It's weird. Okay? But it's what I do. Okay? Is this helping to create any urgent questions, Olivia? You must be muted. You must be muted.
Oh, sorry about that. No, I don't have any urgent questions just because this is definitely something that we talked about in the past. It's just pretty much talk to everybody, is what I've gathered from you in that story and in the past when we've talked about recruiting. Talk to everyone that you know.
Making decisions every minute, every second is huge too. Like, I really wanted to talk to him. I was just really busy doing this. I'm not riding in the car smoking a cigarette with my feet up, daydreaming about how rich I am. You with me? Like I'm getting stuff done. That's and then how simple it is to talk to a person. And I was expecting to get hammered, laughed at, feel terrible. But it didn't. He said he was fired up and interested. And then I follow up and see if Patrick's calling him up and talking to him. So, but hear what I'm saying, Olivia. He might be the biggest person, right, to ever join the Alliance. Davies has got a lady in his group under Mimi that I met in passing. She's number one producer in Mimi's group, right, Davies? What's her name?
Cleo. And now
I know Mimi's got another girl. She's got a Cat coming on, right? Cat's coming on strong. You ever heard a golfer and you say, "So how was the game?" They say, "Well, number 2, I hit this," and they remember every single shot from every single hole. That's weird. That's weird. But for me to remember names like that is like the golfer remembers their shot. There's this hunting place in South Dakota we were just at, and Paul Nelson Farms. You can look that up too. It's unbelievable. I just got an invite from John Maxwell to go hunting with him up there at Paul Nelson Farms. We went up there, had my son with me and my son-in-law, and we get out of the bus, and this guy, Paul Nelson, Jr. or whatever, he comes up and he's like, "Hey, Mr. Albright, how you doing, Andy Albright? How's the family? Where's Spencer?" We landed and got out of the bus. And then Adam, Brian Adams, the CEO of Integrity, he walks up to him, Paul, and he says, "Who's that right there?" And he says, "That's Brandon Manley. That's Andy's son-in-law." This guy had studied faces, job descriptions, and names for 20 people. Inspired my son. Now he goes to a meeting, he's trying to remember everybody's name. And then was leaving, Brian Adams said, "Who you got in here next?" And he said, "It's so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so." He said, "Whoa, stop. How many people is he?" He says, 38. He said, "You got them all memorized?" He said, "Not yet, but I'm close. I was going to take it." That is a bit exciting, a bit exhilarating, a bit motivating, or it's a bit off balance. I don't know what I want to tell you. You understand, a billionaire, Brian Adams, takes us up, or we're hunting in South Dakota, and then John Maxwell is like a world famous speaker and author. I get it in my same place. Paul Nelson. Crazy stuff. Paul Nelson's granddaddy started this thing. Back in the day, Paul Nelson's granddaddy's riding down the road, and God said, "I want you." So he sent one of them twister things, and he just grabbed his truck and just sucked him right up to heaven and threw him about 3 miles. And the truck and the body was left there where he went on up. Isn't that crazy? Like, it's just story after story after story. Like, can you imagine, like, how crazy it's going to be? Okay, so Sarah, who's the best one you found so far?
You're going to do that to me?
Yeah, just the best one.
All right. Right now, Sophia Carrillo.
Sophia Carrillo.
What did you say?
I don't know.
I didn't hear the question.
I could have said the same thing to you. What did you say?
Her name is Sophia Carrillo, and she is personally producing, but also she's just talking to all her friends. So she's building like crazy, building some momentum out there in Houston. So super excited about her. Of course, obviously Sherry Teal. She's just on a tear. You know, she's top producer, top rookie within the company, and she's definitely building some momentum on the building side as well. So a lot of good people coming on, but definitely excited about a couple.
Okay. Got a million things I want to tell you. In preaching, in wrestling, in politics, and in business, same thing. Your job is to be Don King. I don't know if you know who Don King is, the greatest promoter of all time. Your top people need to be known to the world as your top people. You got to put pictures of them. You got to put it on the WhatsApp. You got to put it on private Facebook. It don't need to be nobody's surprise who your best person is. Promoters. If you fail to do that, then you're not the greatest promoter of all time. Olivia, it's your job. It's your job. I think this Ann Tindong, oh my God. She's written 45,000 in the first 6 weeks. Solid business. She's like 32 wide. No, she's not 32 wide. She's like 18 wide, but it's 32 or 35 people in her business. And the coolest one I've met so far is her son, who's 27, I think, Marine, 5 years, and fired up out of his mind. Like, you promote and you get these people out front. And this is the last thing I leave this. Davies, this is, you know this. This is what you do to people. So recently a person said to me, and they're good people. They're high level, intelligent, reading books. And they said, Fidelity and Guarantee makes a lot of mistakes. And I went, well, that's consistent because they're an insurance company. And I have noticed that insurance companies make a lot of mistakes. That's very consistent. And she said, what are we going to do about it? I said, I'm glad you asked. In life, there's small things and there's big things. And we need to keep the big things big. And we need to keep the little things little. And insurance companies are going to make mistakes. And they're going to fix them. And it's never as fast as you want. That's a little thing. Here's a big thing. Not being a moron in front of your group. Here's a big thing. Keeping your eye on the prize. These are big things. If you lose sight of the prize, you might get lost. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's a big thing. So the little things are things that are annoying and agitating. Those are little things. So teaching people to keep the little things little. Things that like what are you going to do? We'll talk to them. I talked to Catherine. She's one of my best friends. She heads up operations at F&G. And she said they've never spent a dime in operations. I said, well, that's clearly you never have. I've known you for 24 years, and you lost so many applications. You screwed up so many commissions. And she was like, yes, tell me more. Tell me more. You know, like we're keeping, it's a little thing, but we mentioned it. And she said, guess what they're doing? They're spending tons of money. So by June of next year, it's going to be fantastic. I was like, I don't believe you, but it's nice to have hope and dreams. See how little it is? Keeping people understanding the little things are little and the big things are big. Like the goal is freedom. The goal is 200 people selling, so you're making $100,000 a month. The goal is freedom, where you can go where you want to go. You know, y'all want to, yeah, hey, private tours of the pyramids, yeah. Cruise down the Nile, yeah. Stay out, all night in the desert, yeah. Yeah, I almost wanted to say, is it first class? But I'm talking to Scott Dunn Travel. It's like a stupid rich company. I was like, it'll be first class. Olivia's just help a little bit.
That helps, yeah.
Davies will be quicker because he's done this a million times, but what I want for you is your biggest takeaway. Sarah, your biggest takeaway. Davies, you kick it off. What's your biggest takeaway?
From today, I think the biggest takeaway is just the reminder of, if you want to make a move, you got to get real narrow. You have to simplify in order to amplify. So if I want to make my next big move, what am I willing to put down so that I can get narrow like we were in the beginning?
Simplify to amplify. What do you think, Sarah? Biggest takeaway?
You're never going to be the healthiest or the sound as you are now. So why not now? Why not now? You stop making excuses. Now,
the healthiest. I heard. What was the other part?
Right now, you're never going to be the healthiest you are. You're never going to be the best. There's always going to be something that comes up tomorrow. So this is one thing we were talking about the hotspot last night. Stop making excuses as to why you're not building your business. Build it now. Build it now. Build it yesterday. Best time to plant a tree was yesterday, right? So just, it's going to, like you said, you don't even remember all that effort because you were just in the business. You were engulfed in it, right? But look at where you're at now. You're courtside. You're traveling the world, not even thinking about it, right? Riding around the world on these jets. You don't even remember that sacrifice because look where you're at now. So just, there's going to be sacrifice. It's all good. No big deal.
I remember almost dying from pneumonia twice. I remember waking up in midair in my pick-em-up truck, my S10, flying through the air, thinking, God. I was really thinking, God, I don't care. What are you going to do now? There's you go in little and spread out. Molly Bolt. If you ain't heard these things from books like When's the Best Time to Plant a Tree? Yesterday, 20 years ago, or Right Damn Now. It's always going to be so. That's great. And how do you teach it to find people that already know it, and then give it a shot. Explain it to somebody. 1 in 1,000 might get motivated by the bench or something. I don't know. Mr. Day, Olivia.
Yes, sir. My takeaway. So my takeaway from this call was what you said there right at the end about not letting the small things kind of get in your way and to keep your eye on the bigger things, because that's definitely something that time to time that I struggle with, is not letting those small things get in the way of my bigger vision. And also, I need to become a master of that mundane so that way I can educate other people on how to do that as well within my agency.
168 hours in a week. And every minute, every second, you've got a chance to shake hands with the right person, say the right thing to the right person, find the right person. Every minute is an opportunity to change your life forever. Woohoo! So if you should not be watching NC State tonight. But if you do, and it pans to the left, and you see this look right here, that'd be me. And Cuz beside me, Don't be watching that. Be making shit happen. I won't be recruiting, but it's a different world. Hey, y'all are three of my favorites in the whole world right now. You're smoking, you're recruiting. I want everybody. You are, what I said, who's the smoke in this business? Your job Don King is to promote them and make everybody know who they are. Y'all are three I want people to know right now. Y'all are making stuff happen in America, and I'm excited for you. I'm glad you're on our team, and can't wait to see you in person. National Convention, one more person there. That's going to be stupid rocking with Dr. Caracas Watkins. Can you imagine him walking around Saturday night with Damon West? Damon doing the coffee bean story. Man was in prison for life. He just peed in the cup again and answered all kinds of questions because he's been traveling, working. Because every time he leaves the state of Texas, he has to pee in a cup and answer 100 questions. He's on parole for the rest of his life. So he's going to he's going to pee in a bottle so he can come see us again, get tested for drugs, and he's going to come see us and talk some crazy mess. And then a coffee with the party on the stage. Tia's got a little open bar planned. It's some crazy stuff, man. We're going to have a great time. Awards, banquet, recognition. Oh! Party on the 53rd floor. Have y'all seen who's invited? Like, not many people were invited to that party. 53rd floor of Integrity's headquarters. Private club. Limited seats, limited availability. Everybody that's there is going to be somebody because it's recruiters, people that are building businesses. I need to see y'all three there. Love y'all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.